I can't believe we're not even allowed to hold a proper funeral for those who fought for our country. Are you alright, Rodwell? I'm used to it now. It's not like it's my first time experiencing this now. Second born of House Dimitri, Rodwell Dimitri. I never thought the front lines would be this atrocious. I think about giving up on my academy diploma and going back to my hometown dozens of times daily. Did you hear the news? Your brother Roman became a ranker. Roman. Did he actually reach 3-star? No, there's no way the brother I know could have done so. It's just a rumor. I don't know what sort of trick our house pulled, but forget rancor, he can't even take care of himself. The truth will be exposed soon enough. You have a visitor, young master. Visitor. All of you, leave us. I will get straight to the point. I serve His Majesty the King of Cairo. The reason why I've come to Dimitri is to secure Roman Dimitri, the hidden dragon of the frontier. The 4 factions of Cairo. Royal Knight. As royal knights are knights who serve the king, it's the highest honor a knight could attain. To be honest, it's extremely unusual to directly propose having you recognized as a royal knight. Normally, you can only earn the privilege of being a part of this order by passing rigorous trials set up by the royal family, but you are an exception. If you come with us to the capital right now and swear allegiance to His Majesty, you can join without taking the trials. Isn't that to be expected? I'm the eldest son of the Dimitri family and I'm not lacking anything, so why should I bother going to the capital and becoming a royal knight? Once you become a royal knight, you'll be given your own mansion, and the Dimitri family will be given a higher title. Is that the best the royal family can give? The best of the royal family? You're making a very big mistake right now. The reason why His Majesty, the Emperor, wants you is because he values your future potential more than your present. You can become a royal knight, get a new title, and even a new mansion in the capital. It's a reward that's too much for someone like you. You're the delusional one here, not me. What do you mean? 5 days ago, someone from Count Gregory's family came to see me. In return for my oath of allegiance to them, they offered to give me a mansion in the capital. Thousands of paean of land, gold, and silver. And also, they want me to become their blood relative through political marriage. Those bastards from the Kronos Empire have made their move. From the Denver family 3 days ago. They said they wanted to be my sponsor. The Denver family is from the Valhalla Empire. Last night, I met with someone from the Benedict family. They made a more unconventional offer to me. They offered conditions that are 3 times more compared to other families, and also, next month, I'm going to make Dimitri self-sufficient. It's over. We were a step too late. But still, there's no reason why you shouldn't choose us. As you said, there are traitors who are trying to devour the kingdom as a whole. Thanks to the Knight Commander of the Royal Knights, who is Cairo's best swordsman, he's preventing the rebellion, and is already in control of it, but being involved in state affairs is difficult for the royal family because their eyes and ears are blocked. As you know, Cairo is such a small country. Even the suggestion I made earlier was faced with opposition from the nobles, so all I can promise you is your seat as a royal knight. However, with all due respect, I beg of you, would you please offer your strength to His Majesty? In a single kingdom, there are 4 forces. It's a familiar situation to me, as I was the 12th son of the heavenly demon. The previous 3 proposals and even the one from the royal family are not enticing to me. That is why I do not intend to accept any of the proposals. But as of now, I won't throw them away. Not yet. There's still hope left, so please return for today. Understand. I will wait for the day when you pledge your allegiance to His Majesty. 4 proposals. 4 refusals. Roman doesn't have any intention to pledge his allegiance to any of the 4 forces. Since they're going to be hostile to me anyway, I should buy time by leaving room for all of the forces. Greetings. But he's wearing Dimitri's staff uniform. What is it? Didn't I already convey the message through the Denver family a few days ago? I apologize for approaching you in such a rude manner. What's with this person's glare? At that time, because of the eyes around me, I had no choice but to take formal action. But right now, you can think of this as Valhalla's true feelings. Valhalla has fallen in love with your potential. Your nationality, though, is a problem that is difficult to resolve. Moreover, it would also be difficult to just leave Dimitri be, which has achieved a considerable amount of wealth. We're here to offer you your own title as well as an iron mine. We'll also give you a fertile territory, in order for you to keep up your current standing as a blacksmith. The survival of my family. It's an unconventional offer, and the most important thing for a swordsman, having power. Valhalla will specially allow Romanim to have access to its Class 1 treasury. Valhalla does things like the mind method and sword arts and keeps all the records from their ancestors. They keep those in their treasury. Those records are classified based on the level of their content. Except for the special records, which is the highest grade, all of those are stored in Class 1. Eventually, Valhalla will establish itself as the sole empire after conquering the entire continent. You staying here in the Kingdom of Cairo is like a shortcut for hastening that objective. So stand by Valhalla, where a glorious future for you lies. Secure compensation and appropriate amount of intimidation. Any clever man would not have a choice but to accept our proposal. Ha! I refuse. Are you for real? The reason for my refusal is not because of your insufficient compensation nor because of my loyalty to this country. Then what is it? I have received a lot of proposals lately. It's to increase my value without choosing anything. That is, if you look at the current situation of the Kingdom of Cairo, the kingdom's royal knights, Count Gregory, Marquis Benedict, Count Denver. Pledging my allegiance to one power is not as easy as it looks, so I have to plan on how I should move in the future. I'm at the crossroads of my life, so it's not just because of the proposals, but I want to take time to see what is it that is worth risking my life for, to make myself look like a faithful subject. He will make it look like it's hard to make him kneel even once. So to get his heart Roman has to make it seem like he'll be going until the end once he swears his allegiance. And Makin was touched without even realizing that it was an intended act. I don't know how long it would take you to realize the value of Valhalla, but we can't wait for too long. Be careful to not be too late, so please give an answer to our proposal by then. Okay. I'll be giving you a gift as a symbol of our upcoming relationship. Watch out for your southern front. It's like a ticking time bomb that could detonate at any moment. So you're leaving in the end. Father, I'll be back in good health. All right. Don't worry too much. It's not the Western Front, where we share a border with the Kronos Empire. He has been assigned to the Southern Front, which is safe. He'll make it back safely for sure. But I know. I guess worrying about our kids is inevitable. Let's go. It would bring some kind of results once he returns. Last stop before arriving in the Southern Front. We're going to rest here for today, and will continue to the Southern Front as soon as daybreak comes. Yes, he rented an inn for us. As expected of our Lord. I heard that other nobles would make their soldiers camp out. What a bunch of bastards you are. Do you know who I am? I'm the eldest son from the Albert family, Henry Albert. Get this piece of garbage out of my sight. I have heard you were going to carry out your duty of national defense. I understand your dedication to this kingdom, but I can't allow someone who may become one of us to have his health ruined from being in a barren environment. I pulled some strings for you to be dispatched to the Southern Front. Remember this, House Benedict is always waiting for you. His displays of goodwill have been going on for the last few months. The Marquis who leads the aristocratic faction must really not want to lose me. There's no better talent than me to go against the royal knights. Contrary to the Marquis who believes it is safe, the Valhallan intelligence agent said it was a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate. Well, I guess I'll find out once I get there. I am the one and only second son of House Albert, Henry Albert. A descendant of one of Cairo's prestigious families wishes to use this inn, so how can lowlives like you dare talk back to me? What's going on? My liege, He's telling us to get out since he'd like to use this inn. I told him we've booked the entire place, but he's being very insistent. Though it wouldn't matter regardless. Why should we have to leave? Are you their owner? I am. Then read the room. I don't know where you're from, but don't you understand that upsetting me would turn out very bad for you since we're both heading to the southern training camp? I'll give you 10 minutes. Take these trash and get out of my sight. So this is how members of a remote house like Dimitri are treated. I will not leave this inn. There is a simple way to resolve issues in situations like this. Draw your sword. If you defeat me, I will gladly leave this inn. You dare. You must stop immediately, my liege. What? That man is Roman Dimitri, the swordsman who recently rose to become the youngest ranker in history. That son of a bitch is Roman Dimitri, Cairo's youngest ranker in the war against Barco. He killed their eldest son in front of his own father, a demon devoid of blood and tears. That Roman Dimitri. Why have you stopped in your tracks? I'm dead. I'm dead the moment I draw this sword. Oh. Pardon me. I forgot I had an arrangement. Let's wrap this up as my bad and consider it as resolved. You'd better be grateful. I'd love nothing more than to punish you for disrespecting House Albert, but... My liege, what the Southern Front is like. On that day, 3 similar incidents happened, with all 3 scurrying away after hearing Roman's name. That's common here. Compared to the Western Front, there's no real danger on the Southern Front since we have a relatively amicable relationship with Hector. That's why the children of nobles who fail to escape conscription do their best to go to the Southern Front, also known as the resort. The training is lax. And there isn't anything one would need to risk their lives over. It's the perfect place for nobles to complete their national defense duty. Exactly 48 days ago, the kingdom of Hector's scouts crossed the border. Although they went back after only confirming movements of the Southern Front, they made 3 more checks of the Southern Front. After that, it can't be certain whether they are preparing for a war or not, but from the gathering of the fragments of information alone, the current Southern Front is by no means a sanctuary. I smell a familiar scent of blood in the air. I am Viscount Bale Frank, the commander. The Southern Training Camp is a place to provide basic training to soldiers dispatched to the Southern Front. You will be added into a reserve corps after 3 weeks of training, and will spend your remaining service there. Forget whatever your status was before admittance. In here, you are simply a soldier completing their military service. If any of you act in a way of disregard for the rules, you will be sent to the Western Front as punishment. The punishment is merely to be dispatched to the Western Front. Who would? HM. Lord Roman, the commander would like to speak with you privately. Welcome. Did you have a comfortable trip to the south? Please sit. Indeed, there were no issues. Do you have any idea how excited I was when I heard you would be sent here? Roman Dimitri, Cairo's youngest ranker. I was elated just from the news of the birth of a hidden dragon in Dimitri. To be honest with you, I called you here to confirm something. Is it true that Marquis Benedict pulled strings for you to be sent to the Southern Front? That's correct. I didn't ask for him to do so, but I heard that he pulled strings to make it happen. Is that so? Marquis Benedict is investing a significant amount on Roman. If I make connections with Roman in advance, I may get a chance to enter the central government. Let me tell you straight then, I'd like to leave a good impression with the Marquis. The Southern Training Camp isn't bad, but it can't be compared to the luxurious life of a member of the central government. Hence, I will do my absolute best in accommodating you during your stay here. In exchange, when you meet Marquis Benedict in the future, simply tell him that Viscount Bale Frank made my life easier in the Southern Training Camp. That's all I ask in return. He put it very bluntly. There's no reason to refuse what he's willing to give me. Found you, you son of a bitch. Why you messed with the wrong person. You hear me? Do you know what my maternal house is? It's House Frank. Viscount Bale Frank of the Southern Training Camp is my uncle. Now do you understand your mistake? God damn it, wait right there. Let's see if you can maintain that haughtiness. Uncle. Oh man, why the long face, my dear nephew? Uncle, what would you do if my life was threatened by someone from a mere barren household? What? Who the hell threatened you? How dare they touch my nephew? I'll trample them if it's the last thing I do. Okay, he's on the other side of the door. Uncle Uncle Bale, my dear nephew. Uncle Bale, who I was close with ever since I was little, listened to any request I asked of him. There was a time when I cherished Uncle Bale more than even my parents. You uncle. The other party is Roman Dimitri. The one who has received Marquis Benedict's favor and someone with limitless potential in his future. Oh dear, please excuse my nephew. I should have educated him better. Please let me apologize in his place. I will just let it go, since you're being so considerate. Excuse me then. Haha. Thank you. You absolute moron. Roman is someone Marquis Benedict has his eyes on. What could you possibly be thinking of doing by going against him? Even how could you strike me? Oh. Henry. When will you grow up? If you act here like you do back in the Albert estate, I won't be able to protect you. Roman may have harbored some ill feelings toward us from today's matter. So from now on, I'll stick you with Roman in everything, from training to the reserve corps formation. Form an amicable relationship with Roman, no matter what. Swear it. If you don't follow what I say, I'll send you to the Western Front. Understood. A private quarters. Viscount Bale sure is trying hard. A man who openly discloses his ambition is easy to control. It doesn't look like life in the Southern training camp will be all that bad. Sigh. I can't believe I'm organizing war games for the nobles. 3 years ago, I was a veteran warrior active in the Western Front. Southern Training Camp General Instructor McBurney. I volunteered to fight in the Western Front out of sheer loyalty to the kingdom. And throughout countless battles in the span of 10 years, I protected Cairo. I started from common origins and rose to a commander who led 100 men, but only a moment was enough for it all to perish. During a fierce battle to protect the Western Front, I lost my sword-wielding right arm. At that moment, rather than the searing pain, I suffered more from the loss. As acknowledgement for your accomplishments in the front thus far, I'm considering appointing you as a training instructor of the Southern Training Camp. You'd have to leave the battlefield, but I hope you'll protect Cairo from there, at least. I understand. However, the training system of the Southern Training Camp was an absolute train wreck. Everyone receives the exact same level of training in the Western Training Camp, but the nobles in the Southern Training Camp were completely exempted from training. I planned a tight training system starting from the 3-week basic physical training. But it's meaningless if the nobles who command the soldiers won't partake in the training. What meaning is there to all this? For sure, if you come to our estate next time, is that true? I'll show you what true pleasure is. That's a promise. I'll always welcome a sworn brother's visit. I can't believe they're this laid back on the front lines. I've had enough of this place. In this Southern training camp, they've lined up in perfect rows, and there's even a commander. Do they still not know much about the Southern training camp? Lord Roman, the Southern training camp does not force nobles to train. If you'd like a break, then you can go to the shade and watch the training like the others. Are you saying such a thing because of them? Well, yes, that's correct. Our enemies' attacks do not discriminate between status on the battlefield. And not all wars take place in an open field. Mountains, rivers, swamps, etc. For a commander to perform their role in various terrain, they need at least a bare minimum level of stamina to keep up with their soldiers. Hence, it is natural for a commander with the authority to give orders to participate in training as well. And I understand that the training in the Southern training camp is a way to confirm the strength of the soldiers as well as a process to pass on experience. He even has a perfect understanding of the meaning of the training. Therefore, you do not need to make such a fake smile in front of me. I am ready to receive any form of training, regardless of my status. It's my first time hearing a noble say that he will devote himself to his training. I heard people risk their lives, for the people who acknowledge them. I was going to make some compromises to commence the training, but, not anymore. I'll do the best I can in these 3 weeks. Hugh. We will now begin the first week of physical training. Through McBurney's decision, the gates of training hell opened. The purpose of this training is to prepare you for the restless war zone by bestowing upon you the ability to make quick movements anytime and anywhere. You will climb this mountain every single day, regardless of the weather. Those guys. What the hell are they? War is a psychological battle that one never knows when it will end. Through endless swinging training without a specified quota, you must overcome your limits. For those who give up midway, I will extend your training, even if you have to cut back on sleep. Ha, I feel much better now. What a bunch of liars, saying training in the southern camp is lax. They never said we were gonna go this hard from the first day. I think the difficulty rose thanks to a certain someone. Yeah. Compared to you guys, we're drafted soldiers. I'm sure we could also have handled training of that level if we had plenty of time to prepare. But a gap would obviously form since we haven't trained for as long as you guys have. How much training have you guys received then? We've only trained for barely a year. Of course, we'd be worse than you guys, who've obviously trained for years. You seem to be mistaking something. We only started training 3 months ago. You didn't have time to prepare. Don't make excuses. You just didn't give it your all, plain and simple. On the day he checked the soldier recruitment notice, Henderson made up his mind. Subordinate. Since it's just being a private soldier. I'm sure I won't need any outstanding qualifications. However, that was a massive delusion. Veteran mercenaries like Lucas, Pucky, and the like gathered for Roman's shocking conditions with his offer. Henderson soon became a herbivore surrounded by beasts. Can I really make it here? Unfortunately, I don't think I have the right to serve Lord Roman. Why do you think so? I'm nothing. I'm sure you know, more than a novice who doesn't even know how to properly swing a sword. Just the fact that someone who's been nothing but a farmer all his life, stepped up to serve Lord Roman was an arrogant judgment. Are you saying that you'll give up because you are subpar compared to the others? Yes. When I first saw Kevin, he was just a brat with nothing but spite in his eyes. Honestly, I couldn't understand why he took in a common boy. However, have you seen Kevin now? In such a short time, he has grown into a warrior no one dares to ignore. I'm just as laughable as him. I challenged him as the ignorant self I was when I first met him, and my front teeth were almost blown away. Back then, I was nothing more than a frog in a well. I too had changed through the Liege's guidance, just like Kevin. Listen carefully, the Liege has personally taken you as his soldier. You may be pathetic right now, but you have the potential to grow, just as Kevin and I have. The Liege who we serve is someone who can turn that into reality. Honestly, I can't believe in myself. However, he must have had a reason to have chosen me among all those applicants. I still can't imagine how a farmer like myself can grow stronger, but, just like you said, I will try putting my trust in our Liege. From that day onward, my life started to change. I stuck to the training regime for the last few months, no matter what it took, and even if I were to puke or pass out, I did my best to catch up to my comrades, and ultimately, I was able to become my current self. What do you guys think war is? Are you going to complain that you can't fight because you didn't have enough time to prepare in the boundary between life and death where you can only survive if you kill others? Rather than acknowledging your weakness and striving to improve, you drag others down to your level. I have no reason to humor your nonsensical request. Pathetic. Roman's warriors were already in the mindset of war. The extreme physical training continued, even while the difficulty was increasing with each day. Roman's soldiers gritted their teeth, and stuck with the training to the end. I don't understand why they're going that far. It'd be different if this was the Western Front, but isn't the Southern Front far off from the war? They're just meaninglessly wasting their strengths since they're of common birth. How can those of Dmitry be acknowledged by anyone if they don't go that far? Right you are. How am I supposed to get closer to a guy like that? Doesn't he realize it's a good thing to converse and form good relations with other nobles? This is the problem with nobles of common birth. Arg, fuck it. I'm sure it'll work itself out. Here's my report. Ranger Corps Captain Jackson. For the past year, the Ranger Corps has infiltrated and investigated the 5 defense lines of Cairo's southern front 48 times. From the investigations, we've determined that their defensive strength has been skewed toward the western front due to their confrontation against Kronos, leaving their southern front neglected. Hence, conquering the southern front will not be a problem. The kingdom of Hector, they were once a superpower on par with the Kronos Empire. They, who once grew at a speedy rate thanks to their powerful national defensive capabilities, suffered a helpless defeat in a war against Valhalla, and fell to ruin. Cairo Hector's national strength fell to Cairo's level, Hector, and has been reduced to just one of the 6 kingdoms in the continent. That has no choice but to walk on eggshells around the empire. I'll allow it. May I say something, Father? Hector has been suffering from the worst harvests in history for the last 5 years. Prince of Hector Edwin Hector. The money that we borrowed from the Golden Bank to solve that problem has come back as massive interest and is suffocating us. The kingdom cannot go on any further like this. At this rate, Hector will lose any meaning as a kingdom. It's not as though I wasn't aware of that. All because of the war waged by our ancestors. Our kingdom, who lost in the war, has distanced itself from war and its history to never repeat the same mistake again. However, that must stop as well. We've made ample preparations for the past year. For our citizens in despair, as well as the kingdom itself, you must make a decision. War. A word that I cannot dare to release from my mouth. My son is different from my weak-kneed self. Are you confident? I would have never brought it up if I wasn't. All right. Then from this moment forward, I give all executive authority related to the war to Hector's only prince, Edwin Hector. By your command. Meanwhile, in the southern training camp, the 3-week training had come to an end. You will be part of the 5th Defense Line's Reserve Corps from today on. I'm sure ahem you already know, but it's the place where everyone wants to go. I pulled some strings for you to be dispatched there. Thank you. No need for such words between us. Feel free to let me know if you need anything. Thank you for everything until now. I've realized what I am working toward thanks to you, and I think I will be able to teach trainees more passionately from now on. And here. It's nothing much, but I prepared something that you may find helpful. It's a summary of information and geographical features of the Southern Front. I'm sure it'll be helpful if war ever breaks out there. Although I'm sure you'll spend a peaceful 2 years there from today. I'll pray for your safe return. Thank you. The Roman Dmitry that I've seen for these past 3 weeks is someone worthy of my life. But Lord Roman already has outstanding talents under him, so there's no way he has room for a one-armed person like me who can't even properly swing a sword. Farewell. I heard Lucas was having a difficult time acquiring something like this. His pure goodwill itself is worthy of my respect. Southern Front 1st Defense Line. An enemy attack. Henry, I specially put you in the same reserve corps of the 5th Defense Line, where Roman will be. Swear it. During the next 2 years, you must form an amicable relationship with Roman, whatever it takes. Sigh. Why do I have to get closer to that son of a bitch? But at least I was put into the 5th Defense Line. Emergency. Emergency. Hector has declared war. All forces, prepare to engage. War. Engage. What's going on? Romans gone. The 1st defense line was the one that was attacked first after Hector declared war, but the 5th defense line faced the risk of collapse before them. They broke through the gate. Stop them. Please. This place is done for. 5th Defense Line Commander Baron Bruce. The 5th Defense Line was considered the paradise of the Southern Front. This place had long since lost its essence as a battlefront. The nobles in the middle of their military service were provided a life of luxury instead of performing their duty as soldiers. This was all because of the man who took bribes to fill his own stomach, the rotten Baron Bruce, who was the overseer. Guarding the 5th defense line to the end like this is an act of suicide. Maintain your positions. The lives of innocent civilians will be in danger if they get through. No matter what, do not retreat. Commander. Where are you going? Buy me some time. I'm going to contact the royal family directly. All forces, we will head to the 5th defense line immediately. Yes, sir. The Southern Front lacks overall defensive capabilities, but the combination of their deteriorated gear, rotten mindsets, and the incompetent commander makes its military strength the weakest. They placed the reserve corps needed for emergencies, the 5th defense line, 2 hours away from the line. We must reach the 5th defense line in at least 1 hour. Oh, you must be the reserve corps. I'll save you. Are you the commander of these soldiers? Escort me to the rear first. The commander's safety takes priority over the 5th defense line's reinforcement. I must report this danger to the royal family immediately. This man is Baron Bruce, the commander of the 5th defense line. Why are you here by yourself without any soldiers, you impudent brat? How dare a reserve corps member like you talk that way to me, TSK? I've heard enough. The fact that you're here means only one thing. That man who calls himself a commander has abandoned his soldiers and run away. Do you understand that by law, deserters can be executed on the spot, regardless of status? You wouldn't. I would. If you had retreated with your soldiers, then at least you wouldn't have died by my hands. Let's go. Yes, sir. Damn it, 5th defense line. I knew a day like this would come one day. To think a commander would abandon his soldiers. Fucking bastard. It's over. Are you Stephen? Baron Bruce is dead. You are the one responsible for this place now. Stephen, he was on the list of names that Lucas gave me. The only person who'd be of use on the 5th defense line is Stephen. As you've been guarding the 5th defense line for years, I will trust your judgment. Tell me how we can protect this place. If you say that there is no hope, then I, Roman Dmitri, will have all forces retreat as the commander of the reserve corps. So this man is Roman Dmitri. To be honest, the flow of battle is highly strained. Retreat would be the correct decision, but we would then yield an advantageous position to our enemies. If Hector occupies even one of the 5 defense lines, they would obtain a path in which they can mobilize supply units. In that case, the war would be prolonged. Then there's only one way. We must use the railings to block the enemies from forcing their way through the gate. I will buy enough time for us to install the railings. You will mobilize your forces to prepare them. He accepted such a reckless plan. But this plan is far too dangerous. Enemy forces are charging in even at this moment, and you will die if you become isolated. I know what you are worried about. However, I am not some moron who risks his life over a plan that I think is impossible. Over a plan that I think is impossible. He evaded without even seeing the attack. My liege, we will clear a path to the gate. All forces, follow me. Understood. They don't even have a shred of doubt. I can't believe such a master-servant relationship is possible. Ah, understood. Then make your preparations. The war has only just begun. I understand now. Their loyalty toward him comes out of respect. Is there a need for someone like me, who doesn't love his own country, to take up such a risk? In the end, war is a place where the powerless are inevitably sacrificed. For me, who's being valued highly in the Cairo kingdom right now, I've obtained the privileges as one of the strong. There are many ways to avoid war, but the reality of a small country with no power or wealth, those terrible realities are actually causing my blood to boil right now. I've actually missed my life on the battlefield. Follow our liege. Whenever Roman moved, death followed. When he kills 10 people, Hector's soldiers would charge as they trusted each other. When Roman killed 20 people, they realized that their opponent was far stronger than they had ever imagined. And when he killed more than 50 people, the enemy's faces began to be filled with fear. A monster. Run away. Retreat. What on earth is happening? Hector's commander, Baron McCleary. Victory should have been assured as long as we broke through the castle gate. But when did our troops start to retreat? Who is that? Our eyes met when he's that far away. Is he charging in alone just to take my head? How arrogant. Take my head. How arrogant. Kill him before he rampages any further. There's only one enemy. Stop him. The enemy commander let his guard down. The way to end a war quickly. I know from the numerous battlefields that I've fought in. The moment the head of the lead commander has been severed, that is when the enemies would have no choice but to crumble immediately. I must kill the commander. Everyone, step aside. We'll take care of him. Heavenly Dar Sword Tech, second move. I'm Baron McCleary of Hector's army. I will. Soldiers of the Cairo kingdom, listen here. I have slain the enemy commander. But if we spare the rest of them, they'll definitely return as our enemies. Even though we may have lost much blood here, put your lives on the line and slaughter all our enemies. What is this? I now know why Uncle told me to get close to Roman no matter what I had to do. After Hector's soldiers lost their commander, they began to run away in different directions. Roman and his soldiers defended the 5th defense line successfully. Of the 30 soldiers including myself, no casualties incurred. Great job. Use potions to treat your injuries. Understood. They supply potions to all their soldiers. Potion. A medicinal liquid created in the magic tower for healing purposes. Even the lowest grade potions are worth quite a large sum. On top of being immensely strong and able to make bold decisions, he's also generous towards his men. There's a reason why there's trust between Roman Dimitri and his soldiers. Because of who he is, his soldiers would trust him and follow him even if he ordered them to charge into a fire pit. Stephen, you take care of the battlefield here and prepare for a second round of attack. And I need someone that's familiar with the terrain of the southern front. Don't tell me you're thinking of going there right away. I am, because the war is not over yet. He's native to this area. He'll be helpful as a guide. My name is Kobe, sir. This is the terrain map of the southern front. What's the fastest route to reach the rear camp? How about this route? Based on what I know, this route will take around 2 hours 30 minutes. I need a shortcut that will help us arrive within 2 hours. In that case, wait, how did he know that the mountain path would take 2 hours 30 minutes? That wasn't just simple speculation. He already has a certain grasp of the southern front terrain. I didn't know you were so familiar with this area already. Why did he choose me as a guide then? When you were called by Stephen, you probably thought I didn't know much about the southern front. That's not the case. No need to be so flustered. It's normal to think that. I studied the basic information in case of any unexpected situations, but I don't have a perfect understanding of everything. That's why I need the assistance of a native of the southern front like you. He's different from the other nobles that came to the southern front to live an easy military life. If he helps us, I'm sure even the southern front can have hope. Exactly 10 minutes. The meeting didn't last very long. Soldiers including myself are prepared to depart. Why are you here? Henry Albert. I asked why you're here. To get close. If I say that, you'll tell me to get out of here, right? Firstly, I apologize for my previous mistake. However, I still want to follow and assist you, Sir Roman. As a Cairo nobleman, I, too, cannot stand still. Just say the word, and I will follow your orders. You are free to follow me. But one thing is for sure, if you get in the way of my plans, I will not spare you. Very fast. Ugh. Ha. This. A soldier from the southern training camp. What happened to you? The southern training camp was attacked. Please, help me. Please. The southern training camp in the rear was attacked, and not our front line. Given that the soldiers at the training center fled all the way over here, they were most likely attacked at least 30 minutes ago. So the Kingdom of Hector was attacking our 5 lines of defense, utilizing a fast-moving unit and launching an attack at the same time. No way. Let us go to the southern training camp at once. What is this? Even if we leave you now, you're still going to die. Why don't you just give up? Then we can give you a painless death. You think I'm going to die alone? I'll risk my life to kill even one of you. Come at me, if only. My right arm was okay. Where are you, Sir Roman? The only person on the southern front who hasn't let go of the tension. He was assigned to the 5th line of defense. I thought Sir Roman would have done something. If he's the one coming to my mind at this point, when I'm about to die, it must mean I have no lingering attachment to the battlefield. What is that? Has Cairo sent reinforcements already? Who the hell is that guy? A reinforcement. You don't know. That person, Sir Roman McBurney. He's still alive. Now, wipe out the enemy and rescue any survivors. Attack this bastard. You guys. I'll capture you alive. Damn it. Quick, report it to the front. Ugh. I said it, didn't I? That I'd kill at least one of you. Ha. Leave the rest to me. Take a break for a while. Well done. Thank you. 12 soldiers from the Hector Kingdom were taken care of, and 5 survivors were rescued. And according to the survivors' testimony, it is said that Vale fled to the mountains with injuries, after having fought with Hector's soldiers. Hector's main force attacked the southern training camp and left for another location. The soldiers in their main unit number in the several hundreds. And the Hector soldiers we fought, they're all locked up in one building. From now on, no one besides you is allowed into that building. That's an order. There must have been a reason for Hector to use the strategies of the sacred book. I'll find that out soon. I'll give you 3 minutes from now. If you give me the answer I want, I'll give you a painless death. However, in the case that you don't, you'll experience terrible amounts of pain till you die. Kill us right now. Just kill us. First question. What is the goal of the Kingdom of Hector? Fuck off. Second question. Why are you guys in the southern training camp? Just kill us already. 3 minutes are up. What you're experiencing is the splitting of your tendons and bone fracturing. After suffering from the pain of having your muscles torn apart and your bones fractured, you'll die very slowly. You may have been trained to withstand torture, but even so, you think this will change the outcome. Even if I told you about Hector's operation, it's already too far along to be stopped. That's the answer I've been waiting for. What? From the start, I was never interested in hearing the truth from you. I just wanted to see the reactions you'd have. I guess I was right though. The real purpose of this meeting is. The rear is where it is. You're going to die now. The simultaneous attack on the southern front was a ruse. If their operation succeeds, the southern front is as good as destroyed. We'll do the judging ourselves. We're cutting ties with you. What happened at the southern training camp? Explain in detail. The Kingdom of Hector was attacked 2 hours ago. As usual, we were preparing for the next rider's training, when Hector's soldiers suddenly appeared and attacked us. We quickly called in troops to fight back. The power gap between us was too great, so we were slaughtered. I'm also not sure what happened to Vale, the training camp's commander. Did any of the enemy's armor pieces look unusual in any way? They were all lightly armed, and the face of the person who looked like the enemy commander was covered in scars. The commander's face was scarred, and they wore light armor. It could be the Rangers. Ah, Hector Kingdom's Ranger unit. I heard the wounds on his face from numerous wars. The leader of the group is considered a hero, but I don't understand why they attacked the southern training camp. If you have the advantage, wouldn't it make sense to use it to topple the front line? They moved back, not forward, and attacked the camp. Since the camp was on the way to the rear position, they would have had no choice but to attack. You mean? The kingdom of Hector was under a smoke screen. Attacking the front line of defense was just an eye trick. Their true objective in taking the rear position was a warp gate. Empty. A warp gate, a magical crystal that omits space. Occupying warp gates on the battlefield means instant travel has become an important strategy. In addition to blocking the enemy's reinforcements, they can reset the coordinates of the occupied warp gate and even connect the reverse attack. Therefore, the warp gate has a self-destructing device. For a counterattack, the Kingdom of Hector has a strong conviction to win this war. A must-win strategy that will guarantee success if it works. This strategy would be to occupy the warp gate in the rear. Then shouldn't we go and assist the rear troops? What? No. Did you ever get a request for assistance from the rear, McBurney? No way. Hector's Ranger unit left the southern training camp an hour and a half ago. By now, the warp gate must have already been occupied. The enemy at the line of defense, and the enemy at the rear position have completely isolated all the forces on the southern front, including us. From now on, we will be without the help of the kingdom. We have to survive here. I'm reporting to you. Hector Border. I've been informed that we're almost at the rear, passing through the southern training camp. The Kingdom of Cairo was fighting off the defensive line. They don't notice our strategy at all. It's too early to let your guard down. Attacks on Cairo's defensive positions have to drag on to where the opponent won't give up. What matters to us is not to break down the wall in front of us right now. If this operation is successful, we can naturally have the southern front in our hands. Security is vital to this operation. If I had gone all out on the southern front attack from the start, I could have knocked them all down in 4 hours. But the most important thing for us now is the existence of the warp gate. In the event of the worst-case scenario, prepare to destroy the warp gate. If the operation fails, we destroy the warp gate and enter the second phase of the operation. That's a brutally rational judgment. The man who is also called the Star of Hector, Edwin Hector. His presence will revive Hector's kingdom. From now on, it's time for war. Before the enemy finds out, hurry. You have to succeed in the connection. 1 year ago. Jackson, Hector doesn't have the strength to hold out. Golden Bank's pressure is getting worse. If another poor harvest is repeated next year, the national treasury will be depleted. So I'd like to make a proposition to you. Why don't you take the southern front of the Kingdom of Cairo with me? There was a rumor that Hector was cursed by God due to continuing the poor harvest. Edwin Hector, known as the greatest genius in Hector's history, is in a situation where it wouldn't be strange if the country went down tomorrow. Within a year, Hector scouted the southern front 48 times and used spies to dig tunnels in the rear positions. The Ranger unit secretly infiltrated the completed tunnel by getting their hands on the warp gate. The connection is a success. Empty. Welcome, Prince Edwin Hector. Kellen. Yes, sire. I'll leave the 1st Battalion to you. Deal with the remnants of the rear positions, and build a strong defense in preparation for the support of the Kingdom of Cairo. Understood. Jackson. Yes, sire. I lost contact with Baron McCleary, who was in charge of the 5th line of defense. Do you know anything about that? We're still checking the facts, but you don't have to worry because it's only the 5th line of defense, not anywhere else. Since it's a place on the southern front that's famous for its problems, it seems that a few troops alone can break down the 5th defense line. I would have told you not to force yourself to attack under any circumstances. Don't you think? True. As soon as this operation is over, Baron McCleary will be punished regardless of his performance. Edwin Hector, despite his meticulous operation, did not notice two variables that had occurred. First line of defense. Repair the wall before the enemy strikes again. Commander. We received a call from the Southern Training Camp. The Southern Training Camp. Commander of the 1st Defense Line. Count Donald. Count Donald. I'm Roman Dmitri from the 5th Reserve. What brought you into this situation? Let me get straight to the point. It looks like the Kingdom of Hector is using a smoke screen to capture the warp gate of the rear position. Before being completely isolated by their army from the back and front, he abandoned the castle and fled to the mountains. We need to gather all the remaining forces on the mountain. The mountains in the south are very rough. You call that a piece of cake. And also, we'll judge that ourselves. I'll be hanging up now. In this case, all other defense lines except the 5th will be discarded. Pack your luggage. We're heading to the mountain. We can't connect to the rear camp. Damn it. Was what Roman said correct? Even if the southern front and the nearest places send troops here, it'd still take about half a month to arrive. Is there really no other way to handle this? No. If we can hang on in the fortress until the reinforcements arrive, we'll still have a good chance of winning. How could this be? We're completely isolated. Damn it, to think they'd really steal our warp gate and send additional troops here. Our defense lines in the front and rear are all blocked by Hector soldiers. No, I need to calm down. We were able to repair the fortress walls perfectly. We have also prepared all of the armaments in advance. So we won't repeat our first battle's mistakes. We can last in the fortress. Everyone, prepare to attack. 1st Defense Line's troops, listen up. Hector has taken over the warp gate. And so, we're now completely isolated. Don't expect any reinforcements from the kingdom right now. However, just like in our first battle, I trust Count Donald. We'll hang in there until the reinforcements are here. What's that sound? What on earth is happening? It's Flare. Spotted Panther, the crow's the rainbow which shall go over, the with false citron, in perfect white and red, the peacock's feathers bill blue as lead. These shake apps before you perfect. Empty, 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 empty. Before the front and rear are completely isolated by Hector's army, we must abandon the fortress and take refuge in the mountains. Roman, you were right. The commander's head has been severed. Thanks to getting a head start with Flare, we were able to occupy the fortress without much loss. At this rate, I think we'll be able to take over all of the southern front perfectly. Time is on our side. Imprison all of the surrendered soldiers in a place so that nothing can catch us off guard. In order to have an advantage in our discussion with Cairo, we'll need as much ammunition as we can acquire. Depending on the situation, we may even use the hostages to strike a deal. Understood. The plan is perfect. But why do I feel this uneasiness? What on earth could I have overlooked? Big trouble. Baron McCleary has died on the battlefield. Because of that, communications were cut off. Who passed on that information? Bring him to me immediately. At first, the 5th Defense Line definitely seemed unprepared for any attack. As soon as we started attacking, we managed to get into the fortress and Baron McCleary ordered us to destroy the fortress right away. Directly after that monster appeared. Monster. His power was so strong that I still couldn't believe it even though I saw it with my own eyes. That monster cut down numerous ally soldiers alone. Tens of soldiers would disappear in a blink of an eye. Even the Aura Knights of Hector were completely unable to withstand even a single strike from that monster. Just because of the appearance of that monster, we lost the battle. Monster. Monster, monster. He's a monster. Come to think of it, I had heard Cairo's youngest ranker was assigned to the southern front, even though we took a year to make perfect preparations. An unexpected variable has appeared, Roman Dmitri. Jackson, report on the current situation. Yes, sir. We checked the 5th defense line, but none of the Cairo soldiers had remained there. It seems they've withdrawn into the mountains. I'll form a pursuit squad right away if that's your wish. No, the tides are in our favor already. Since we've taken over the southern front, It's time to negotiate with Cairo Kingdom. When on Earth are they arriving? My apologies, because things are happening so abruptly, everyone is taking a little bit of time to come here. King of Cairo, Daniel Cairo. The King of Cairo isn't able to make decisions on his own. He's required to obtain the approval of the powerful aristocrats in order to mobilize troops. Ha ha ha, I'm a tad late as my horse carriage ran into some trouble on my way here. Aristocratic faction Marquis Benedict. Pro Valhalla faction Count Denver, Pro Kronos faction Count Gregory. By the way, is it true that the Hector Kingdom has attacked the southern front? The Hector Kingdom has crossed over the border and ambushed our camps. At this rate, the southern front will be in danger. Can't we just send reinforcements now? That shameless old man. In that case, I'll assume I have your agreement to send reinforcements to the southern front immediately. What? They took over the warp gate. In the end, the command system that was split into 4 became a much bigger problem. How do you intend to take responsibility for what's happened? If you guys had given me the rights to be able to make decisions that a king has to make from the start, the southern front wouldn't be in such danger right now. This is all your fault. My king, Hector just sent a magic communication. What we want is compensation for the war. Please send us gold that you believe your southern front is worth. Do you think that's reasonable considering that the war isn't even justified? This is just plain robbery. I'll give you exactly 3 days. If you don't meet our demands by then your southern front will be absorbed as a part of Hector. If you even try any petty tricks to buy time, none of the southern front's hostages will make it back alive. Hector's state coffers were being depleted because of the continued poor harvest and were also late in repaying their interests to the Golden Bank. For the sake of the commoners that are in lament, even if I'm no longer the star of Hector, I'll become the devil of this era if need be. I'll do whatever it takes to save my people. Now that the warp gate is in the hands of our enemy, we have no other option. Giving the reward demanded by the Hector Kingdom is the only way we can minimize our loss. However, they will certainly ask for a lot of money then. Is there no other way? Tell me if any one of you has a countermeasure. This is not even funny. We always fight one another just to share the power within this small country. But once we face a real crisis, we're this helpless. Then, let's just accept the terms of Hector Kingdom. I disagree. We have Roman Dmitri in the southern front. According to the report that was just sent to me, Roman Dmitri was able to successfully defend our 5th line of defense. If he was able to change the course of this war, then we too have a good chance of winning. I admit that Roman Dmitri is a very great swordsman. Him being a 3-star swordsman in his 20s is a great blessing to our Cairo Kingdom. However, he won't be able to deal any damage in this war by himself. You're right. Roman Dmitri is the future of our Cairo Kingdom. Rather than losing our country's talents because of their futile adventures, I think we should prioritize minimizing our country's loss. As expected. They are not aware of Roman Dmitri's true abilities. It was information that I received from the Pro Valhalla faction. He has more talent and value than a 4-star. He's the only variable that can break through this war. But there's no need to give this information to them. Since that is everyone's opinion, then I won't force myself. But just give it 3 days. If there is no opposing variable in the southern front within 3 days, then how about accepting Hector's terms by then? Let's do that. For Cairo Kingdom, as of now I will prepare both options, either war or negotiations with Hector. First line of defense. Everything's over. Cairo will lose this war. Retreat to the mountains right now. A war hero. I don't need to have that fame. Hurry up and move. Yes. Let's just do whatever it takes to survive. Shoo, be quiet, Chris. Follow me. Why is one of Roman's knights here? Didn't they go to the rear? I think there's something in the middle of this mountain. What is this? When the hell did you build this hideout? If the rear position has already collapsed, then we have to run. Why did you build this here? The war is not over yet. Protect your allies like Henry Nim, this is left here so we can kill the enemies coming up the mountain.